Okay, so in Proverbs 8:27, it says, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. This is talking about wisdom. Wisdom's talking here. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep. I want you to hear this. I don't want you to skim past it. I want you to hear this. When he prepared the heavens, I was there when he drew a circle on the face of the deep. Face of the deep. So what we have over here, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That's Genesis 1:2. God, if you believe the Bible, he literally drew a circle on the face of the deep. And I believe that circle that he drew is where he's going to place this firmament. It says, and God called, I'm on verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. So now we've got this circle drawn, and in that circle, he has separated the waters from the water, and he's placed this firmament there, this expanse, this mass, this shell. And that's what's holding the waters back. So right now we've got a circle, we've got an expanse with water above and water below. We've got day and we have night. Okay, that's all we have. We just have an expanse with water located above us and below us, and we got day and night. That's all we have.
Welcome back to Lolli and Lizzie. We are searching his truth, and I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Lolli. Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let dry land appear, and it was so. So the land was there already from the original, and he separates the waters, and the land appears. So now we have land and water
under a firmament.
Right. And it says, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas, and God saw it was good.
Science will tell you that it looks like all the continents were one at one point, and then something happened, and they all started breaking apart and separating, and now you have all these different land masses or continents. So I believe that when the land appeared, that's when it was still one.
Right.
Inside water, surrounded by water, and covered by a firmament.
Right.
With water above and below.
Right. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed. Now, I want you to see this. Now, here's the thing. This is where we're going to start with our little pinpoints, okay? It says in verse 11, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Okay? So in verse 11, right now, according to chapter 1, there's no man. And there's no animals. He's saying, let the earth bring forth. So the seed was already in the earth. I want to point that out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. people smarter than me will tell you that he doesn't say he's creating anything. He commands the earth to bring it forth. And in chapter 2, it says, the beginning of the heavens and the earth, before any seed was in the ground.
Right.
So when was that planted in the ground?
Yeah, it says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day of the Lord. God made the earth and the heavens and every plant of the field before it was in the earth.
So chapter 2 saying there's nothing in the earth. There's no seed or anything in the earth.
Right.
But they'll tell us
that in verse 11.
Verse 11, all of a sudden the earth has seed in it.
Right.
And he's calling it forth.
Right.
It doesn't say he creates it. He commands the earth to bring it forth.
Right.
Because the seed is now in there.
Right.
So that seed was planted after he created the heavens and the earth, during the time, the pre-Adamic time when Satan was here.
Right.
Before he fell. Then Satan falls, and then Adam's created, and now God's reorganizing a place for Adam.
Right. And so in verse 11, it's saying that God said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, and whose seed is in itself upon the earth. Okay, if you go to chapter 2, this is one of the pinpoints. Chapter 2, verse 7, it says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into the nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. Man was first. Man was first. Man was there when he was planting this garden.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to say, to me, this is even more that the Garden of Eden is outside of our realm, because man here, he breathes into man, and it goes on. It says he breathes into life. And then the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground, the man's watching this. He put him in the garden, and then out of the ground made the Lord grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. So in verse 2, in what I believe is in a different parallel, a different spirit in the spiritual realm, the man is seeing, he puts him in the garden, and then God raises the trees up. He watches God do it. He watches, that's what it says. It says it's right there. He says it. So over here in verse 11, according to most teachings, man's not even created yet.
Mm-mm.
And verse 11's talking about, the grass and the trees growing. All right, we're going to move right along. And the earth brought forth grass and herb. Okay, so we're on 13. And the evening and the morning was the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So now he's putting lights in the firmament. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. So here's a different little thing. 3 things are in our heavens.
Yep.
3. There's stars, there's the sun, and there's the moon.
That's it.
That's what's in the firmament, in our heavenly firmament.
Mm-hmm.
Just hang tight with that a minute. And God set them in the firmament, in the expanse, in the open area that he just created, in the circle.
In the firmament.
In the firmament. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. and the evening and the morning was the fourth day. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the... Hold on, I'm going to turn the page and take my notes off. The moving creatures that have life, the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas. Let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning was the fifth day. So here, the fifth day, the animals are being created. Now let's jump back over to 2.
Exactly.
And then 2, verse 19, because man's already been created and put in the garden. And then in verse 19 it says, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name. Adam was already there.
Yeah, because he named them.
He named them.
So in chapter 1, he's not going to be created for another couple days.
Mm-hmm.
But in chapter 2, Adam's there and he's naming them.
Right.
As he forms them and brings them to him.
Yeah, that's what he says. And God said, oh, wait a minute. In 19, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. So he's forming them and bringing them to Adam.
Well, yeah.
Forming them and bringing them to Adam.
Name them.
For Adam to name. You got to jump on one side of the fence or the other. You either believe this or you don't.
And the footnotes in my Bible, it acknowledges there's a difference. But most people just think that they somehow complement each other and move on. And nobody's truly looking at this.
All right, so we're going to start at verse 24 in chapter 1.
Okay.
And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So now we have animals on the earth. So now on the earth, what do we have? We have an expanse. We have waters above, waters below. We have earth. We have grass. We have trees. We have the animals. We have the sun, the moon, and stars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are. We still, according to chapter 1, man is not on the scene.
Mm-mm.
He's not on the scene. And God said, okay, and now we're on chapter 6, and this is where people lose it.
Chapter 6.
I'm sorry.
26.
26. We're on verse 26, chapter 1. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Okay, so now just bear with me.
Who's them?
Who is them? First
male and female.
Yeah, let me point out something, because when we're over here, so far in chapter 2, we've got the garden, we've got the trees, and we've got the man, and we've got the animals. The woman is nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The woman is not created until after the animals. It says, and the Lord God called it, this verse 21, chapter 2. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man made he a woman, and brought her unto a man. And Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of a man." So here, woman is the last thing that's made in chapter 2. It's the last thing. Okay? Now we're going to jump back over here. We've got a lot to say about
on our little circle of the earth.
Yeah, on our little circle of the earth here. So here we go. Something else I want to point out here in chapter 2. Okay, in chapter 2, verse 15, it says, "And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden." And what's he say to him?
Yes.
I want to point out, what did God say to Adam?
He kept it.
It says to dress it and keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord commanded the man, saying, "Of every tree of the garden thou may freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat it, for in the day that thou eatest there thou shalt surely die." But the only thing he said to this man, outside of the one rule of not eating the forbidden fruit, was to dress it and keep it.
That's it.
At no time does he give him any kind of authority over any of the animals or anything else. I can have someone go out and dress and keep my garden, and they have no authority over my garden. Only thing they have the authority to do is to pick the weeds and pick the fruit and dress it and keep it. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I'm telling you to do, is just dress and keep it. You have no say-so whatsoever about anything else. You get to dress it and keep it.
You're in a perfect world.
Right.
You don't need anything else.
Right. Okay, so that's all God said to him. So now we're going to go back over here to chapter 1 and see what he says to this male and female that most places will tell you were created at the same time, and clearly they were not. Okay, and God said, "Let us make man in our image." Now, what is the image of God? The image of God is knowing
good and evil.
Well, knowing good and evil, being able to comprehend wisdom, being able to take authority over evil, and take authority over any living thing, because he created it. Well, that's the image of God. The image of God is who he is. That's his image.
Well, and
like if someone says they have a bad image, it means they're a bad person.
Right, but and you can prove that, because even Satan said to Eve when he was tempting her, God hasn't said you couldn't eat. He just don't want you to know
what he knows.
Yeah. How does he say that? Where's the fall? Hath God said? It's at the beginning of verse chapter 3.
And the serpent said unto the woman, "Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil."
So right there shows, because when they fell, they knew evil, because they were freaking out.
Right. Okay, so it says, God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion." See, it's all one verse here. It's not, and God said, "Let us make man in our image." It's let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth on the earth. In other words, let them have dominion like we have dominion. Let them walk in the image of us. Let them be able to do what we do. And so he's not creating them 2 legs, 2 arms. He's not creating a physical body. Let them be in our image. For one, God is a spirit. Mm-hmm. And so he's saying, let them have the image, the authority, the dominion that we have. Mm-hmm. And what does he say? And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his image. In the image of God created the male and the female, created he them. He created male and female to have dominion over all the living things of the earth, like he has dominion over all the living things of the earth. The dominion, the image is the dominion part. He's saying, let them have the power that we have. Let them have dominion like we have. Let's create them in our image.